Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Allie Wilkins. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back, I'm so happy that you're here with me again. So today we have a really interesting topic. Also, my top is very bright in this lighting. It's not this neon regularly, but anyways. So today we're going to talk about the word crazy and how that's related to shadow work, but also like that we're all crazy. You know, I think that sometimes we can demean ourselves by saying, or judge ourselves by saying, I'm so crazy, or like, oh, why am I acting crazy like this? And it's a way that like, number one, the word crazy won't offend you, or it's not going to be a word that you use to demean yourself when you are really comfortable with your shadow. So much of our healing, you know, people will say like, you need to be as comfortable in your dark as you are with your light. That's what healing is. Healing isn't just like being in your positivity all the time and you hate on yourself for the times that you're not. You love both sides of yourself equally. You love and accept it. So if somebody calls you crazy, you don't need to actually be offended by that. It's like, yeah, that's my crazy. What's yours? Because everybody's crazy. Everybody is in their own process of healing. So if somebody calls you, for some reason this is coming in, this might be for like a specific person watching this. If somebody's like, you're so effed up, it's like, accurate. So are you. How is that affecting you? You can't like insult someone with that. So if you meet somebody who's like, oh, my ex was so crazy, like that probably showcases that they're not actually in relationship with their own shadow. I personally wouldn't be like, oh, they were so crazy. Because it's like, that was just their shadow and I also have my own shadow, right? So number one, if somebody's called you crazy and you're not like somebody who's burning their house down, right? You might have had your feelings hurt when something happened and you got, you know, normal responses, normal ways that we might act out of reaction, not doing something dangerous, abusive, destructive. We might call ourselves crazy for that, or somebody else might literally say that to you, like, you're being crazy, as a sort of an insult. And it's like, yes, with our shadow, we need to know how it affects other people. And we need to know how it's affecting our own life and how damaging that it can be. But we also get to know that we can love our shadow and get to know it. And why are you responding in these sorts of ways? Because our shadow usually is going to come from a form of trying to protect ourselves in some way. So it's like, or trying to return to love in some way. So we can ask ourselves, what is it that my shadow is trying to get? Why is this happening? Like, why is my shadow acting out in this specific sort of a way? What is it trying to receive? How is it trying to receive love? Why is it sort of like rebelling in this sort of way? And when we call ourselves crazy, where we think about that, first of all, just like stop using that word, because it doesn't even really have any meaning anymore. You know, it's like back in the day, I feel like people would be like, oh, she's crazy. And then like in the early 1900s, sending a woman to like a psychotic ward because, or whatever it's called, because she was on her period. You know, like the word doesn't really have meaning, but it implies that you're just like mentally insane. And so, yeah, everyone is crazy. So take a deep breath. You're not the only one. I saw this post on Instagram the other day. And women, I feel, in relationships sometimes, at least for me, that's where my like crazy will come out. And I'm not doing anything dangerous or destructive. It's like mental patterns, right? It's anxiety, or it's unhealthy mental loops or mental stories that are going on. And then sometimes, please comment if you do this below, because I know I'm not the only one, looking for physical evidence to kind of like support that I'm safe or protected. That doesn't mean like going through somebody's phone. That's not something that's cool, but doing that in your own little form of way, trying to see that someone is actually safe for you, right? And so I was seeing this post and this woman was like talking about all these ways, and I wasn't looking for this, by the way. This post just came up on my feed, and it was like this woman who was showing all these ways that she was like trying to keep up with her ex, like what her ex was doing, and it was a list of like 400 things. And I was like, oh my God, like I've only done like one of these things. Like I didn't even know that you could do these other ones. Like, and it made me feel like, oh, I've been thinking that I was like wrong for doing this, or I've been judging myself for being like, why am I just so like paranoid? And it's like, I'm like, oh, But there's a whole nother level of that. Like, I'm good. So anyways, the point of this message is not going to be a long one. It's just that everybody's crazy. Everybody's got their own little, that's what our shadow is. Our shadow acts out in craziness. And again, it's not dangerous or destructive or abusive. That's different. I'm not saying, oh, that's fine. Go on, keep going on and doing that. We get to look at our shadow. We get to love it, because by rejecting it, by judging it, you're never going to be able to heal it. It's like you have to learn how to understand it. And the only way, so it's like with anything, you know, like for some reason, racism is coming in my mind. It's like you have to understand each other. You have to learn how to understand the differences about why someone is upset about something. Or, you know, this could apply literally in any situation. You can't like judge it and be like, oh, that's not, you're being this way, and then expect there to be a solution. Solutions can only really come from love, like the best solutions, right? So that's how you have to look at your shadow. That's how you have to be with your shadow. And if you're like, I'm so crazy for doing this, that's probably just going to amplify it, because it's making you feel bad about yourself. Instead of like, okay, why is it that I'm doing this? I'm finding myself in this pattern again. Why am I showing up in this way? Oh, because I feel unsafe, because I don't feel heard, because I don't feel, I'm afraid I'm going to be forgotten. I'm afraid that I'm going to be like, you know, whatever the story is for you. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense now why you're acting out in this certain way. So if we know that's what you're afraid of, what's the actual truth here? Excuse me. What's the actual truth here? And like having that sort of loving conversation, it's like, okay, well, maybe you don't have to go to do that. How else could we have that need met? How else could we discover more about this, right? And like coming up with solutions that make you feel better about yourself, but also don't diminish the core problem underneath. That the way you're acting that's crazy, in quotes, is just the symptom. It's just like, you know, the specific branch of the tree that's coming out trying to solve a problem for yourself. You have to look at the actual root of the problem. Oh, I'm feeling unheard. I'm feeling unseen. I'm afraid that this is going to happen. Okay, well, what other healthier ways can we look at moving through this? So yeah, moral of the story, stop saying you're crazy. Stop saying other people are crazy. And utilize your craziness to love your shadow. This is like an entry point into shadow work. I have a bunch of videos on here about shadow work, because the only way you can heal is by looking at your shadow. Because that's what's running subconsciously potentially right now in your life, where you might be a little bit aware of it, or you might be a lot aware of it. So anyways, love your shadows. They're actually working for you, and you just get to determine if they can work for you more effectively to keep you safe and to protect you. So anyways, I hope this made you feel a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments, and share this with somebody if they're like, oh my God, I'm so crazy. Like, just to remind them, we're all crazy. You're not the only one. All right. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.